Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Relationship Zone. It's your girl Queenie, and tonight I have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Tony Wolf, and we're going to be talking about the things I love the most, which is relationships. So, Tony Wolf, welcome to the Relationship Zone.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. How are you doing tonight?
I'm gonna find out after dealing with this show. I don't know what you got in store for me.
I think you're doing just fine. You're going to be doing just fine. So, we're going to wait a few minutes and welcome everyone in, and hopefully, people will begin to watch us and share. This is going to be good, Tony. It's going to be really, really good. This is what you do. Come on now.
That's what I do. I always, get calls from different, friends of mine, and it's always regarding some form of a relationship issue.
Yes. Yeah, a relationship issue.
A relationship issue, and it's in my book that I wrote, the IOE perspective. I just basically explained to them, and when you read the first prelude to my book, it discusses that it's a never-ending dilemma that we gonna always be, trying to find a solution for. So,
and why is that, right? Relationships, why are they so difficult? Why do you think they are challenging?
You got two individuals who got two different ways that they think. You have different backgrounds. You may deal with the race of the individual. You may deal with the environmental what they had when they was growing up.
Yeah, like the influence, the culture.
Yeah. So and I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was telling me about his ex-wife, because they divorced now, and how his ex-wife couldn't receive the love that he was giving her because she never knew how that type of love was expressed, because growing up she didn't receive it. So when he asked her, why don't you accept the love I give you? And she told him, I didn't never think that I deserved it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is something that we all must consider, is we grew up differently, and many of us grew up differently, right? And so we receive love differently. We viewed love differently. Some of us have no real understanding of what real nurturing, healthy love is. And then we look beautiful on the outside, and so naturally someone's attracted to us. And then when we get together, it begins to show up how toxic or maybe even malnourished we are on the love scale.
Yeah, it's a coincidence you said that, because he had went even deep into explaining to me that they did go to therapy, and during the therapy session, it goes back to what you were just saying about our love, how we perceive love. And he was telling her that your love is based on your actions, not your words. It's based on your deeds.
Yeah.
And he said something to me. I'm trying to remember what he said. He said, and it was so nice. I'm gonna remember that. He said, let your, it was like, let your, don't, he said, let your conversation be your manifestation, or something like that. We were saying, let whatever you saying to me be shown through your actions, and don't tell me. You can tell somebody I love you, but then your actions doesn't show it.
Yeah. I post that often. I always say that, your actions and words must match. If they do not match, then it leaves room for questioning. Like, okay, what exactly, what are we doing? So let's go into this. Let's go into this a little further. You and I talked earlier this morning, and we've talked since we met. We both met on Touchy Topic Tuesday.
Yeah, Touchy Topic Tuesday. Yeah.
So I came out, I recorded with you guys, had a great time. We were talking about toxic relationships. We kicked it way somewhere in Maryland. I had a wonderful time. And since then, we remain connected. So, but let's just dig a little deeper, as we were speaking earlier today, setting the foundation for healthy and successful relationships. I do know you have your book, and I know that healthy relationship is something that you're passionate about. But let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what do you, I mean, how do you see that setting the foundation for healthy and successful relationships? How do we actually make this happen? It sounds good, but how do we really do it?
Whew, how do we do that there? So this is coming to me now based on conversations I've had in maybe the last couple of days, right, with some friends of mine. And everyone brings something within that relationship that may have caused some form of damage to them in the past relationship. So when they in the new relationship, something that may be done in the relationship that they're trying to establish now may trigger something to say, hey, that's what I experienced there. And so now you're trying to develop this healthy relationship, but now you're seeing signs of something that triggered something in your past relationship that said, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
Healthy relationships, are there anything called healthy relationship? Because everyone has a relationship issue.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
do.
So we always talk about communication. And I always felt communication is very important because that was the demise of my marriage, because I wasn't a good communicator. But what I found out even further with that is that with communication, that has to come comprehension.
Yeah.
Meaning you have to understand what the person is saying to you, who you're communicating with, because I can easily say something to you, but you're not comprehending what I'm saying. And so you won't be able to, do what needs to be done. Yeah. To make that relationship work. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you, especially with the communication piece. I always say that poor communication can create negative reactions and energy. So we have to be very careful with our communication, especially when we're talking about people that we want to be with, we're pursuing, or that we are with. We should always be mindful of our speech, right? But definitely in relationships, intimate partnerships, because that will tear a relationship apart.
yeah. Well, some people some people can deal with things and try to make the relationship work. And I won't ever tell anyone never to try to make a relationship work, because I love relationships.
Yeah.
However, there's a word I always use called the inevitable, mean it's bound to happen. If there are certain things that you're seeing and it becomes repetitive and you still discussing this, then eventually it's gonna clash with your beliefs, and your relationship is going to be altered. And now you're sitting there saying, well, I tried, but you saw this in the beginning. And and we was talking to a friend of mine who had got married. And when he got married, he was upset now that they end up getting a divorce. But we told him, you knew this woman was like this before you married her.
Wow.
So you gotta basically see things for what they are and just say, hey, I gotta cut my losses.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think many of us are still learning. We're still learning that valuable lesson is, when someone showed you who they are, believe them, and understanding that a leopard does not change their spots.
Exactly. And that's one of the quotes that I think Maya Angelou said on Oprah Winfrey show, and everybody remember that.
Yeah.
And so me, I'm very transparent. So anybody that I meet, I give them who I am. So my friends that I've had over 30, 40 years, to this day, they'll always tell you, oh, Tony always been that way since we've been growing up. I'm not going to change on you. What I will do is leave you alone. That's what I will do. Go ahead. I'm not beefing with you. I'm not, we still cool. We still friends and all that, but when there's certain things that I see, it triggers what I saw in something past. And I say, you gotta move. You gotta move in another direction.
Yeah.
And so that's me.
You sound like your cutoff game is strong.
Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. All my friends will tell you. They be like, they tell me, they be like, Tony, you do not play. And I said, I'm gonna tell you why. So I'm gonna explain it to you,
Yeah, I want to
Queenie
hear
Love.
this. I
Why?
want to hear this because I'm not there yet, babe. I
Yeah,
want to hear this.
let me explain it to you why. Because
All right.
when any woman I've ever dated or been in a relationship with, they'll tell you I treated them with nothing but respect, gave them love, never did anything that would say, this guy right here, I don't want to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm giving you everything you're looking for in that man, and then you bring me something that's contrary to what you're saying you're looking for in me,
Ooh,
and then you
ooh.
expect me to accept that from you? Oh no. What my man say on Living Colors? Boom, homie, don't play that. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is. And that's why I don't have a problem cutting anybody off, because when I'm with you, I'm gonna give you me. That
Yeah.
means you're gonna get the love, you're gonna get the attention, you're gonna get, romance, you're gonna get all that. But when you do something and I see it what it is, and I see it for what it is, I'm done. And
Oh,
I'm not saying that me and the person later down the road can't still be friends, but as far as a relationship, I never go back. So that's one thing I don't do. So I don't go back to no
wow.
relationship. Once I leave, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you and I, well, I've definitely tried to make a habit of not going back once it's done, right? But I do take a little longer to cut people off, though. That's not good, but that's something I'm still working on. Like just cut them loose. It's okay. Just whatever. But I have a habit, of course, of overlooking some of the flags that I'm aware of. But I try to give people, as a friend of mine continues to tell me, give them grace. But sometimes you can give a little too much grace because then people will take advantage of you. So I need to get a little better on my cutoff game. So let me just move into this, Tony. You and I were speaking earlier about situationships, and why do so many people entertain situationships? Maybe you should clearly define what situationship is for the listeners if they're unclear, because some people are probably watching and they're in one. But then tell us, why do so many people entertain these things?
Oh, you about to get into some deep treading waters with this right
I
here.
know, I already
Yeah,
know.
the situationships are in so many aspects. So today I was actually talking to an old friend of mine, and she said something to me in regards to never let your loneliness have you lower your standards, meaning dealing
Ooh,
with something just because you feel like you're lonely.
you better tell it.
And so we started talking about self-love.
Mhm.
So if you love yourself, then you wouldn't have to rely on someone else to bring what you're looking for within your life, because you already
Mhm,
have it.
mhm, mhm.
So you got situations where a friend, uh, he's married, he got another young lady, she's married, they not happy in their relationship, so they decide to start dating. I tell the friend of mine, I'm not going to never tell you how to live your life, but I'm telling you what you're doing is a dangerous situationship,
Mm.
because I know, biblically understanding, a man, even though they might not be getting along with their particular spouse at that time, the love is still there.
Mhm.
And so when you're with that man's wife, and he finds that out, that's when a man get emotional
Yeah.
when it comes to that woman. And so I tell women this all the time. I said, if y'all learn to manage y'all emotions, y'all would rule over men. Y'all
Mhm.
would. I said, but with men, if you ever look at any, and people going to look at this once I say this, look at any movie, there's always a woman that plays one of the most pivotal parts within that man life in the movie. If you look at anybody that usually goes to prison, it was over a woman. If you
Mhm.
look at when we was fighting in school, it was over a girl. When we was in the sandboxes and I was giving girls daisies, it was over a little girl. It's always
Mhm.
the women. Y'all possess an essence about y'all that it makes us weak. And so, and this part is sad to say, because I deal with domestic violence, that
Mhm.
that's why you see a lot of men will kill that woman, or physically
Yeah.
abuse her, because once you give that man a particular part of yourself and he becomes attached to that intimacy, he doesn't believe anybody else should have that. And that's why most men always believe the woman belongs to him.
Mm-hmm.
Once you become intimate, that's why you just got, man, she belonged to me. Man, that's mine. That's how we talk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if you saying that's yours and the man possesses you and then you go step out in a situationship with somebody else, it may cause some harm to you because of that man. That's when a man gets emotion. So when you're dealing with a situation, you got to know that your situation you're dealing with is the best situation you can be in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, what, and you're so right about, especially the DV. I work in that area as well. And so I have seen it so many times. But what about the single man, a single woman that decide they may not want each other, but they settle to be with each other? I think it goes back to your lonely
And
statement,
loneliness.
right?
So
Yeah.
companionship,
Yeah. I think everyone wants a little bit of companionship at some point, right? And I know some people will say they don't want it at all, and I get that. But for those that do want it,
well,
they
that
want
it,
to have that.
yeah, you have had, and I know you heard this. You have had stories where women have said, "Well, I got me a man," and the man may not even be there physically a lot, but she'll
Yeah.
always. It's a thing of saying that I have someone, and
Hmm.
you might be at a get together, and your girlfriends are like, "Where's Mike at? Oh, he couldn't make it,
Yeah.
because Mike over town with Trina,
With
you know
his
what I'm
main,
saying?
with the one he's actually in a relationship with.
Relationship with."
Yeah.
And so I always tell the women who call me and talk to me about, they always say self-love. And I have to kind of look at that again when I say that, because you and I discussed earlier, we don't know what type of love they
Yeah.
experience in the environment that they grew up in. So
Hmm.
we don't know,
Yeah.
you know. And so it it baffles me. It
Yeah.
just baffles me that people accept the things that they do in regards to the partnerships that they allow in their lives. So
Hmm.
it just, when I hear about this stuff, I be like, oh yeah. And I say, you're gonna get what your hand called for. So you'll get it, you
So,
know.
but how does one you can't control, right, another person. You can only control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can only manage self. So you can't control what the other person is doing, saying, or allowing. So when individuals wind up in those situations, you can't make the other person be more than what they are choosing to be. So what are you suggesting that one do?
All right. So that's very important that you brought that up, because we deal with a lot of people who try to possess someone else, another
Hmm.
human being.
Hmm.
And so I always tell individuals, no one can possess anyone. The moment you try to possess someone is the moment you're going to fall into a grave area
Hmm.
of disappointment.
Hmm.
Stop having expectations for another human being to be the way you are.
Hmm.
The moment you do that, you set yourself up for disappointment. You you're a particular person. So I'm a good person, I'm a be loyal, and I'm dedicated to this person. But you're giving that other person the same attributes, characteristics of yourself, which is
Hmm.
not. And go back to what you said, you don't know what they're doing. You can't control where they may
Yeah.
be or how they may move. And so what I tell a lot of my friends who do date, I say, let them do what they do. If they move a different way, like they start that from where they started, then you move the way they move and see if
Hmm.
they can handle it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And most of the time when I talk to my women friends, like my daughter, I tell her, don't be readily available all the time for a man.
Hmm.
You can love him, you can have
Yeah.
feelings for him, but sometimes be like, oh no, I got something to do with my girlfriends tonight. Don't let him think he has full access to you like that,
Hmm.
you know. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so when you dealing with that it's just you have to be very careful in how you look at another person and expecting certain things. And I was telling my brother tonight about when the intimacy comes into the relationship, the woman, that's what I said, the woman starts believing in something called entitlement. She's entitled now
Mm,
to know where you at. Where
mhm,
are you going? Where have you been? Because she has given herself to this individual.
mhm. Oh my. All right. So listen, speaking of your brother, he he is in our comment section tonight, and he made a statement. He said you can't ignore the red flags. So, since he decided to take us there early, we're going to go straight into this red flag conversation. But before we do, you told me earlier that you had a story about a long distance relationship that you were in one time,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
Okay, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're all doing something, right? You know, we
yes,
got long distance, we got online dating, we got situationships, we got we got marriages that's on the brink of death. We
yes.
got a lot going on. But share with us, I guess your experience with your long distance relationship
Okay.
and how did that work out?
So some years ago, met a young lady, was on an online dating, and we got along. We would talk to each other every day. We would FaceTime each other,
Mhm.
and she wanted to do that face to face. It was maybe 3 4 months
Yeah.
into us just talking, and I told her, okay, you can come down. And she was like, okay, so how are we going to do the arrangements? I said, no, you can come stay with me for the weekend. And he was
Wow.
like, for real? I said, yeah. Because I believe if you're going to be with this person, you want to see how they act within your surroundings in your home.
Yeah.
Because I'll finish the story real quick with her because she came down. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Then I ended up going up there to see her.
Nice.
And the
Okay.
thing about it was when I got a chance to go up there, I saw something when I stayed with her that was a red flag.
Ooh,
So
okay.
me being the person that I am from my marriage, I learned that communication is key. I didn't
Mhm.
communicate before, before
Yeah.
my marriage. After my marriage, I went to counseling. I saw a psychiatrist and I
Mhm.
learned that you got to communicate.
Yeah.
So I communicated with her about the situation. She felt that I was out of order. I said, well, I can't deal with it. I wish you the best. So I ended the relationship. So that's how I am. My thing is,
Cutoff game is strong.
yeah, I said, okay, I wish you the best. And the crazy part about it was I would have had no problem being with her
Yeah.
besides that red flag that I saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I say this to say that about the communication part. So I want to put this out there because all my buddies and all my female friends always say, Tony, you quick to leave a woman. I say, yeah, and I discussed it earlier about because I give a woman me, all of me. I love her. So I'm not going to communicate with you if you do something that's a red flag and I see it, I'm done. I tell any woman I meet, when I'm done with you, I'm done. I'm saying you ain't got to call, you don't have to text, you don't have to do none of that. We still cool. You know what I'm saying? I still got love for you, whoever, but I'm done. So
Okay, so let me ask you now. Now, in all fairness, because I know viewers are watching, it's like, oh my God, look, sometimes this is my own belief, Tony, that sometimes a red flag is not always an end all of the relationship. You could address the behavior with love and kindness to try to see if it really is an issue, right? Because the person can defend it and then like, well, it's definitely toxic or it can be toxic. For instance, if someone defends that they how rude they were at a restaurant to staff, right? And that makes me very uncomfortable if I'm out with someone and they're extremely rude to the staff, and I'm I'm like, one day that could be me, right? So if I address it and then they defend it like it's no issue and that's just how they are, for me that's a flag that probably will not go away, especially at our age. Like, this is just who this person is.
that
But yeah, so I get it, but certain things, you could maybe potentially address and give a person kind of a moment to at least talk about the thing, because sometimes people don't gotta, again, I believe that because you don't know how they were raised, this is probably why they're doing what they're doing in some instance, right? So some people may think that it's okay to leave dishes in the sink. I hate dishes in the sink, right? So if I come in and I immediately see dishes in the sink, I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm done because dishes in the sink. I mean, I could actually say, this is an issue for me. Is there a compromise for that? So you don't feel that way?
No, no, I'm not. I'm not. Because
Oh
I'm
my
gonna tell you,
God.
I'm gonna tell
Look.
you, I'm gonna tell you why.
One red flag and she's way out. Yep.
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna tell you why. You said something when we started this show
Yeah.
about it takes you a minute to, you'll see certain things and then you'll let it fester on. And then I gave you this thing about the inevitable. The inevitable is it's bound to happen. So now you done gave all your time, all your energy, your emotions, your feelings to this individual who you already seen the red flag. What does red mean in our world? Red light means stop. Red stop sign means stop. When you see red, red means stop. You understand what I'm saying? But people keep going. And what happens when you cross the stop sign that says stop? You get in an accident and you crash. When you run through a red light, there's a possibility you're going to have a wreck. It might be a fatality. So I stop at the red light and say, I'm not going no further. I stop at the stop sign and say, it means stop here, go another way, and proceed with caution. And my thing is this right here. I'm not taking away from the person being a good individual.
Okay.
It's just that particular thing Tony Wolf, is not going to deal with. But you have other individuals who will deal with the red flags and have situations where they'll. So this is really what disturbs me. You'll see the red flag, deal with the individual, but then complain to your girlfriends, your mother, everybody else about the red flags you see. Girl, he don't come home like he's supposed to, but but girl, the sex is good, but girl, he don't come home, but he make that money and pay for that. So now you're compromising. You're compromising your morals, your principles, your standards based on another aspect that is good to you, when the other part is destroying you.
Yeah.
Your peace. In my book, I say your happiness should be the most important thing to you. If something isn't bringing you happiness, get rid of it.
I agree with that. So I do not disagree with you. I think that when we talk about red flags versus deal breakers, right? So there's a difference. I think for me, a deal breaker would be what you're saying, like he don't come home. That's not a red flag. That's he just absolutely disrespectful, right? That's not even a red flag. That's just disrespect. And there's my boundary, and that's where I'm. Now I can cut that off. But I think when I just think about the red flag, it could be just maybe a way a person conducts business, right? Maybe they have poor money management, and I may want to address that. And instead of just walking out the door. So when I'm talking about red flag, I'm talking about more of that type of flag versus the absolute deal breaker.
All right. So
wait, what's your brother say? No, you don't. Not all red flags are deal breakers. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Not all, but go ahead, Tony.
All right. So when you meet somebody new, y'all two are getting to know each other, right?
Yeah.
The first two questions I usually ask by the male and the female is, what are you looking for? What you looking for? With me? Yeah, what you looking for? You over your dinner date, y'all looking at each other. This is the first time you like, damn, I might be with her for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you say, well, what you looking for? So guess what you start doing? Well, I'm looking for someone that bang, bop, boop, wop. Now this person right now is becoming your representative. They becoming that formula. Okay, I know she don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm a smoker, but I know she don't like smokers. Okay, she don't like a drinker. Oh, I drink, but I can't let her know this.
Oh, yeah.
So now you have given this person what I call the resume syndrome. When we know all of us in this world critique our resume to fit the goddamn on job that we trying to get, and none of us even did half of the stuff we put on the freaking resume. You know what I'm saying? But once you get into the job, now the job say, okay, this person pretty much you learning. You learning things that you go on. You going to work. So relationship, you learning a person, y'all getting the touchy feely. You become a little more close. The next thing you know, the boss come to you and say, I thought you knew how to do this. This was on your resume. Well, yeah, I knew I would learn it once I got here, and I knew you would find out. Just in a relationship. I didn't know you drank. Well, yeah, I drank, but when you told me you didn't like drinkers, I didn't want to. So my thing is, when you find someone, I want you to be who you naturally are.
Yeah.
Be who you are. When a woman say, Tony, what you looking for? Be you. I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking for. Yeah. Because if it come out something that I'm not liking, you won't hear from me no more. So you good. You know what I'm saying? So
Tony, that is like, that's you come on. Come on. I agree with you on mostly all of this, right?
Okay.
Come on.
Everybody have a different way that they move.
I know. Like,
but this is my saving grace with this. Any woman I've ever met, I have told them that. Any woman I met, I told them, I said, I'm this way. I said, if something comes up, I said, I'll just leave. I said, you won't hear from me no more, so you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to call me. You ain't got to text me. Just go live your life. I'm good.
You know that can leave a person with a ton of insecurities.
I didn't know that part. I just,
it can leave a person with a ton of insecurities because they're, as many people know, they're left without closure. And I get it, you don't closure. But when a person does, like a child, if you discipline a child by throwing them in a room and they don't know why they're in the room, it leaves them with trauma. So I think it is nice to share why this is ending or why this not, and you cannot always do it. So again, there's some just toxic people that are crazy and you can't tell them, but your person, even if it's not working out, when you can just say, listen,
this. Right, so I'm gonna tell you why. Tell me
why, because I don't want to traumatize.
Somebody asked me that too. Why I do that? They asked me that today, and I said because if I end up talking to that individual may try to convince me they can change, we can work this out, and all those things, and that's how relationships get back together. I don't want it to work out, anymore. I'm just done. Right. I don't want to be convinced. I don't want you to try to convince me. And I don't even want to put that sense of hope there where we're sitting there talking and you like, okay, we talking now. I get persuaded. No. So I leave it alone. And then some months down the line, then we can come back and we can talk. I only do that because I don't want that individual to think that we can work it out. That's why I leave it like that.
I get it, Tony, but I'm telling you what it does. It damages that person when they do not know. It's like trying to chastise a child and they don't know what they've done. So it leaves that person running in circles in their head trying to figure it out, which is it's overwhelming and it's so very unhealthy for that person. So I'm just suggesting, and I know that it's not your way, I'm just suggesting that there may be a better way, right? A better way meaning it's easy to say, wait, let me finish my thought. It's easy to say, you know what? I don't want this relationship to work, but I will at least share with you why I'm ending it. So you've already set the boundary. You've already let them know I absolutely don't want it to work. But just so you're not running around looking crazy, I did not like the fact that you pick your toenails at night.
Yeah. I got you.
You see what I'm saying? Because it can, we're talking about healthy communication, and I personally don't want to contribute to someone else's trauma by, and I'm just saying, if I don't like the fact he snores at night and I just pack my clothes and say I'm gone, I don't want to just be like out. I'm just ghosting him. He
Okay,
deserves
I
more.
agree with you. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that, right? I'm gonna give you that. However, someone is asking what happened to communication is the key. I just said I communicated that to every woman I've dated in my past that if you do something that is a red flag to me, I'm leaving and I'm not saying anything. You don't. I'm not calling you anymore. I'm not talking to you. I'm not responding to you anymore. So you
But
already know. So I understand what you're saying, Queenie
yeah,
Love, about
yeah.
at least communicate to let them know what it was.
Because they
But
don't know. You don't know what you don't
well,
know.
they don't. Most women they know. They know what they
No,
did.
Tony, no,
Yeah, they know
do
what they
not
did.
broad stroke us. Do not broad stroke
Yeah,
us.
they most people know
No.
what they did when they did it. They want
Tony.
to play like they don't know. That's where you come back and have that talk, and then you say, "All right, babe, we're gonna work it out. We going." I'm not doing that.
Tony, we're
Yeah.
going to agree to disagree.
All right. Hey.
You know, listen, everybody has their own way of ending relationships or leaving relationships. I personally rather anyone that's ever left me, I would rather, if I didn't know, because sometimes in a big blowout, you just kind of know. But if I didn't know, I would rather them share with me like, hey, Queenie, I can't deal with you and all those guy friends that you have. Then I would be like, okay, I mean, I guess I can get that. So when I go into my next relationship, I'm thinking about that. Like, what does it look like with me being a female, single, having all these guy friends and a man's trying to get into my life? I have to think about that. But if I don't know it, I don't know it's a problem. I'm just going to keep doing it because I think it's okay. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
we're gonna get into some meat and
Let's
butter
go.
right
Let's
now.
go.
So now you're changing who you are for another human being. And the next person you meet may not have that issue with you having a lot of guy friends. He might be like, I don't care. You had them before you met me.
This is
And that's
true.
why that's the thing that I don't appreciate about relationships is that when you meet someone, you start changing who you are to meet the qualifications of another person who may not be in your life next week, next year. You
This
know,
is true.
that's
This is
why I
true.
say be naturally who you are. I don't have no insecurities with any woman out there. They'll tell you because we discussed it earlier. You can't stop nobody from doing what they're going to do
This
anyway.
is
So
true.
my thing is, I'm going to trust you. But if you show me something else, then I'm going to move just like you move. And guess what that is? Without no communication, I see you when I see you. So it is what it is with me. You know, everybody, I've been like this. Hey, Queenie, when you said something, I want to go back real quick.
Go ahead.
We
Go ahead. Go
talking
ahead.
about our age. We're not going to say our age, but we
You're not gonna say
mature adults.
we are.
We've been through that. So we already know. For us to sit here at the age we are right now and say, oh, well, I didn't really understand that. I'm not trying to hear that. It's not going to fly with me. We know. We know. So that's the excuse. That's the excuse that we make to try to make justification for what we allow and for what we do. No, it's not happening with Tony Wolf. The I over E. What the I would say? I over E. Use your intellect over your emotion. All right.
Intellect over emotion. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about the red flag, right? What are some of the red flags? What are some of your own red flags? Because I don't want to talk in ambiguity, right? I want you to tell me what are some of your red flags.
I won't tell you. Don't nobody know.
Tony, let me tell you something.
Yeah, that's
No,
that's
I need
a Queenie Love. That has been my gift. No
that
one
is a
knows
curse.
my red flags. That's
Well,
why. Let's go back. I'm gonna let you speak when I say this. That's
sure.
why I go back to what I say. I tell every woman I meet, if I see a red flag, I'm gone. And they say, "Well, what is it?" I say, "You'll know because you won't hear from me anymore."
Okay, so in that case, so let's not talk about Tony's red flags. Let's talk about red flags that you see show up in relationships. Let's talk
Okay.
about what some of those are. I'll give you the one that we were talking about earlier. I mean, you well, first of all, you just mentioned that you were dating someone online. You brought her into the city, or she was coming into the city, whatever. She stayed with you. What if and you saw obviously a red flag there. Well,
So let me tell you the red flag.
okay.
So that's an example. Thank you, Queenie Love. I went to spend the weekend with her and her family. She had 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is I'm gonna tell you about me changing, like we just said, changing for people. I didn't date women with small kids
Okay.
because I travel a lot. So when I wanted to get up and boogie, I could call someone and say, "Hey, you want to roll with me? I got your ticket." You
Mm-hmm.
know, we can roll out. She
Mm-hmm.
had a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old, but because of people around me saying, "Tony, you have to compromise," and guess what? That lets you know I'm a man that can take advice from other people
Yeah.
because I did it with her.
Yeah.
But what was the red flag was she was cussing her kids out like they were grown adults. Like, get your ass down here. Then I tell you to don't do that, mother. And I'm sitting there like, whoa. And
Yeah.
I told her, and I'll let y'all know what I said to her. I said, if I'm gonna be the man of this house, we're not gonna have this type of language, expressed to the kids.
Yeah.
That woman told me, well, that's the way I talk to my kids, and you can't change the way I talk to my kids. I said, no problem. See you in see you in the next life because I'm gone.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just things I don't deal with. It's like it be things that people say, man, ooh, the sex is good, man. I like this about her, but we go back to this, and I'm gonna leave this like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Your happiness and your peace should be your most important thing to you in the life that we have been given. If
Yeah.
you want somebody to come in your life and disturb you, your spirit, your soul. I used to text people sometimes and say, don't let nobody irritate your soul
Mm-hmm.
this morning.
Yeah.
All right. Now I
I
know
agree with you.
yeah. Look,
No,
you see my touchy topic show, so you already know it.
I
And
have. I have.
matter of fact, Queenie Love, let me say something because one of
What's up?
my man's girls, I was talking to her, and I want to say this, and then you can go on. She said, Tony, she said, since I have known you for all the years I've known you, you have always been a straight up man with what you say. She said, but I'm gonna tell you about us women. We'll say we want the truth, but when you give it to us, we ain't even really ready for it. I said, thank you, baby girl. Next.
Well, you know what, that and I would agree. But delivery is everything. So I could probably take the truth when it's delivered in such a way, a digestible way. But everyone's not going to do that. So I deal with my truth as it comes, even if it makes me uncomfortable.
All right. Well,
You know what I'm saying?
look, this is the thing why I leave with the quickness, because most of the women I have ever dated always used to tell me, Tony, you have this peace about you when I'm around you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fuss, I don't argue. Any woman I
Mm-hmm.
ever dated said this, oh, I ain't never hear him argue, do none of that. I'll be like, do I get upset about things? HEW hockey sticks, I do. Do
Yeah.
things frustrate me? Absolutely. But it's the way I deal with my situations as they come into my life. I change the atmosphere that I'm in. I don't let the atmosphere change me or affect who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the only thing about me is that people say I have a certain type of energy around me, and that's just me, and I'm not gonna let nobody come in and change my energy. Now I'm in a situation now where I'm stay single for the rest of my life. So
Oh
I'll let
my
the world know.
God. No, no,
Yeah,
Tony.
I just realized that I'm not going to date anybody. I'm just going to stay single for the rest of my days. I'm like, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to enjoy life. I'm going to travel, go to different parts of the country, the world, and I'm just going to enjoy my life. And I'm not worried about. I didn't dated enough in my life. I got my dog and my granddaughters. I'm good. I'm not dating nobody. I'm just going to just live my life. So when you see me, or you might see me in France, you might see me in St. Kitts, you might see me in London, whatever. So that's what it is.
All right.
So,
So you're going to be that guy, right? Nothing wrong with that guy.
mhm,
You're very young to be stating that at this
mhm.
point. And I had a dream about you, but I'm going to let that go. So
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
believe it. I still believe it. So I'm going to let it
All
go.
right.
But you're young enough. So how are you going to avoid attachments? Because I'm hearing you. Wait, let me finish my thought. Because see, men like you, and I love you dearly. I'm not say anything to be disrespectful, but men like you can be very dangerous, especially if women are in your zone, right? And you're connected to them in some type of way. You are saying, I do not want a relationship. And then women, you become attached because you're sweet, you're nice, you're funny, you're, all that. Now, how are you going to manage that? Because that becomes very dangerous.
One answer.
I'm listening.
No intimacy. No intimacy.
People can fall in love with you without having to have some type of sexual intimacy.
All right, two. All right,
okay.
Now, there's two things now.
Okay.
Don't spend a lot of time with you.
Oh.
no intimacy, and don't spend a lot of time with you. So,
that's the one. That's the one.
The time is what create bonds, and so that's I know right. that when you start, even us as men, when we grew up as young boys, we always wanted to be around our boys, and that's where the bonds were created. And so what I said to myself was that I'm not going to be intimate with anyone, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time with no one woman. So if I might go out tonight with this young lady, then I'll see her again next year sometime, and then whatever. So that's how I'm looking at it now. So I'm not.
All right, to our viewers, if y'all have any questions, comments, statements, please put them in the box so I can put them on the screen because okay, Tony, I mean, I can't tell you what you are and are not going to do. I just want to see how this works for you. Trust me, I'll be watching right from here.
But guess what Tony has never had to do in none of his relationships. I don't never have one of those stories where I was like, I was with someone for 5 years and they kept doing this. I never had that.
Yeah.
Because you always say you quick to leave. Like you say, my leave game is tight.
It's tight.
And I hear people always complain about what they allowed in their lives.
Yeah.
So you can't cry to somebody else about what you allow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
You know this guy's cheated on you. You know this guy wrecked your car. He just took your credit card and spent $1 million on it, and you still talk about, but I love him. Okay. Then what you crying about?
Yeah. That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. And I go back as a disclaimer. I'm not telling anybody else how to live their life, how to deal in their relationship, how to move. I give you what I do so you'll know how I move. What I do may not be suitable for how you do your relationships. Mm-hmm. I'm not a lonely person. I just said I'm traveling. I love me. So it doesn't matter if you like me or love me or not, because I love myself. And that's why I think a lot of people are searching for love, because they don't even love themselves.
Right.
That's why people always look for validation. Look, Sharon doesn't like me at work. What the hell does Sharon not liking you matter? You know what I'm saying? Do you like yourself? And I listen to people in this world, and I be like, man, people are we'll be here for about 2 or 3 years. We'll be here about 2 or 3 years trying to talk about this. And that's why I keep telling people that I discuss relationships with, I can't tell you how to move. Yeah. It's just how I move. So I don't have the stories. My book that I wrote was based on stories of female friends that would call me and tell me about the relationship problems they were having. Mm-hmm. That's why I was called the I over E, because they kept going back to these toxic, dangerous, unhealthy relationships, and then they got the results of their decision, which was trauma, past hurt, where they bring it into a new relationship, and that hurts me. That when people hear my passion, I have a daughter and 2 granddaughters. I have nothing but women in my world. So I want to protect y'all as women. Y'all thinking I'm being harsh, but I'm actually want to protect you. And y'all looking at me like, man, no, I'm protecting you.
Yeah.
But you don't want to even protect yourself. So how can I do it? Mm-hmm. Y'all about to make me cry for y'all.
Don't cry, Tony. Don't cry. All right,
I'm gonna take that tear back. All right.
Put that tear back in. You may need it later. I mean, you're the uncle that's giving it to us really rough and raw, right? You're like, I get it, And it is, you're very accurate. Oftentimes in relationships, men and women, but of course you're talking mainly about the women that you were writing about, will drag on and go back into toxic relationships, toxic behaviors and patterns, and so on and so forth. So I do appreciate the fact that you give it to us straight, as it relates to that. Now let me talk to you quickly about patterns. What do you know about patterns and behaviors and with people? So people that are trying to date. I mean, again, you're trying to date. I talk about patterns all the time. I say believe patterns, not people. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's kind of how I see it. Like, believe the pattern and not the people. If someone consistently and that could be negative or positive, but if someone consistently shows you that every time you need them, they can't be there for you, believe in the pattern, right? Believe in the pattern, not believe in the fact that they tell you, oh, babe, I really want to be there for you. You know what I mean? That's the people. But they're saying something, just can't show up for you when you need them. So tell me your thoughts on, if you agree with believing the pattern, not people. Yeah. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Now that I agree with you 1,000%. And I'm gonna tell you why. So my last relationship, everything was good. She had full access to me. So the pattern never changed. And that's what she recognized in me. Anytime that she wanted to see me, I was like 99.99% available and accessible to her. But I dated a psychiatrist years ago. Mm-hmm. And she taught me about what you said, patterns. I didn't even discuss that in my relationships discussions, but she taught me about patterns as being a psychiatrist. And what she said was, watch people and how they move. When they start changing their patterns, then something is off, because we are creatures of what?
Habit.
And so that's what it's saying. It is what it is. So my father taught me something when I was growing up. He said, never start something you can't finish in a relationship. Right. So anytime I start doing things for a woman, it's naturally me. So it doesn't become today and then not tomorrow. So every day I'm going to open your door. Every once in a while I'm going to buy you flowers. Baby, what you doing? Next 2 weeks, I want to go out of town. I want to take you out. Just have your bags packed. So that's the type of man I was to the woman that I had in my life, where I ain't got to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to go, you can pay for your ticket. I'll pay for the hotel, but you can pay for your ticket. You can roll with me, but but my thing is that just always follow the patterns, like you said. And if things change, you can do what the some of the guests said in the chat about communicating. So in my book, I always say, pull their partner up, talk to them about what you're seeing in the patterns, and then if they don't change that, then you should move on. You should leave that relationship alone.
I agree. I totally agree with that. The way I look at the pattern is, as a single woman, I never want to feel like I'm dating a married man. So I look at the patterns of how he moves. And if it feels like I'm dating a married man, like I can only talk to you in the daytime, I can't talk to you at night. I can only see you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I can't see you Thursday, Friday. You know what I mean? That type of pattern. And this is just in the process of me getting to know them. So when I'm looking at that pattern, and if it doesn't feel right, and I say something about it and it never shifts, that's when I pull back and I'm out, because I understand that there's certain things that I need and certain things I want, and I don't want to feel like I'm dating a married man.
All right, so I'm gonna disagree with you on that one.
That's fine.
For one reason. I was seeing it. I was talking to this woman years ago, and so the job that I had, which was my own business, I do investigative work. So I was always out running during the day. I would get up maybe 5, 6 in the morning. I'm out working on cases, finding witnesses, doing whatever I'm doing. So at night, once I take my shower, by 9:30, I'm gone to sleep. So when this woman would call me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm in the bed. I'm about to go to sleep. I'll talk to you later. But when she finally came to my house, she said, I thought you was really married or something. I said, why you say that? She said, because you wouldn't talk to me after 9:30. I said, oh, nah. Yeah. And so I get what you're saying. And that was one of the things that she brought to my attention, that was a kind of a pattern, red flag that she was saying. But that is, she got to know. I said, nah. I said, and then once she got to know me, I used to go to sleep on her at 9:30 before 10
Right.
o'clock. She said, "You
Yeah.
asked me." I said, "I told you that's my buddy." So and
Yeah.
so sometimes that's where the communication part where you come in and I say, "Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, you
So
asked."
that's what I'm saying. So you have to have that conversation because if I had the cutoff game that you have, then I'd be out instantly. You see what I'm saying? So I do have the conversation so that I do know what's going on because you're right. Like with our jobs and things like that, that's a totally different game. But
Mm.
I'm saying to eliminate, out here dating someone that's married when I don't want to, I go ahead and I put those things in place. Like, okay, this I can't work with that unless I understand it. But I need to understand it, right? So believe in the patterns, not the people.
All right. And if any woman out there think that they dating a married man, I am an investigator. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
All right, y'all heard that, right? Okay, okay, okay. So you might want to hit us up in that comment section. Just drop us a little something, something, so we'll know. All right. So we're gonna be closing up in a few minutes, but I want to make sure I get to this here. So this was a lack of direction for your connection. I guess that might have been a question. Why are we doing this? Why are we hanging out when a person knows they know? So I will probably go into this saying that understanding, I guess, what two people are doing, right? How can one understand this, and why are we hanging out? Why are people just hanging out? I think that goes back to the situationship, though, right?
Yeah, it's just basically like I told you. Me now, I'm single for the rest of my life. So if a woman wants to hang out, we connect. Let's have some fun. That's it. If you want to make it more, let me know, and then I'll let you go. You hear that? Let me know, and I'll let you go. That's all. It's easy. It's not hard.
Tony, you don't catch any feelings, man. What is going
I
on?
don't deal in my feelings because you're bound to get hurt. Never fall in love because the
Oh,
relationship might not work. All right. Hope you heard that.
that man. You gotta do that one more time.
When you
Okay.
deal in your feelings, you're bound to get hurt. So never fall in love because the relationship might not work. All right. That's something I came up with a long time ago. Because I've seen a lot of my friends get hurt, male and female, because they trusted in another individual.
I got to drink to that.
Yeah, you need to take a couple of and put a shot of something in there.
I do.
Exactly.
I
Because
do. I do. I don't know. I don't know how the viewers feel about that, but no, I like it. I mean, I like it. It has a great ring to it, and I think it's a wonderful way to maybe be alone forever. I think that's great.
hey, but I love
But that's
myself.
your
Hey Queenie, I love my it's not I'm lonely. I remember so I give you this short, real about 5 seconds. My friends used to call me on Friday, Saturday night and say, "Man, what you doing?" I mean, I'm in the house laying down. "Man, you ain't got nobody over there." "Nah, man, I'm just chilling." And they was like, "Slim, you ain't got no woman." "No, I'm good."
yeah,
A
yeah,
woman doesn't validate me.
yeah,
When a woman comes into my life, I treat her like the queen she is.
yeah.
That's why I have no problem leaving when she does something that's a red flag to me.
Right, right, right. No, I get it. I get it. I love myself too. Um, but there's only so much extra I can do to myself, right? I do enjoy companionship, but I do totally love self.
All right, I wish you
I'm
the
very,
best.
oh, thank you so much.
Let me go buy you a teddy bear.
You're sounding so pessimistic. I have plenty of teddy bears.
Yeah, I hear that.
And I believe in the power of love. I do. And I believe it's possible.
Okay, I'm not taking that from you. I'm not saying I don't either. It's just that the things that I experience, everything is from my personal experience. And
Of course.
I tried. Everybody that's been in my life that see me in my last situation, they say, "Boy, you tried."
I was rooting for you. You know
Yeah, I
that.
tried. My whole thing is certain things, when I see it, that red flag, I see things. It's the small things for me that I look at that may become something bigger
Absolutely.
in the future. So I say, well, let me go ahead and end this now because I know in the future, if it gets bigger and something like that happens, then I definitely know I ain't gonna be there. So I just basically just bowed out gracefully and I'm good.
You said something about the small things. I am big on the little white lies that I hear my partner or potential partner or whomever say. I think we all lie. We all We exaggerate stories, we do all kind of things like that. But I listen and I watch the white lies because those can become huge. If you lie about something that's small and very insignificant, I know that you will one day likely lie about something that's major and detrimental to me. So I'm very mindful of those, the little things. I think they say the small foxes that destroy the vine, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, I'm mindful of that. So see, we can agree. I mean, we can agree. All right. Last thing before we go, how important are boundaries? Give an example of a healthy set of boundaries. Now, it's kind of funny that we're talking about this after we've said all this, but let's just talk to the people about boundaries.
Well, boundaries can be where, say, if you're like, I'll give an example, dating someone that had a smaller child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the child and the father basically was like, I don't want this man around my child.
Right.
So now the woman has to come to you and set boundaries, like, look, my child father doesn't want you to have any particular contact with him because they don't know you. I'm getting to know you, but they don't know you. So boundaries have to be set in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe boundaries where um meeting family members, well, right now I don't want you to meet anybody because I'm still getting to know you, so don't try to, because most people are like, well, I ain't even met you. I talked to somebody where they said they haven't even met the person's nobody in their friends or family yet. And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe they just saying, hey, these are boundaries that I don't want to cross with you yet until I'm certain that there's a possible future with us. So
Mm-hmm.
boundaries are up to the individual who you're dating and what they consist of. So
I think it's nice to have some healthy boundaries, especially when it comes to how people deal with or how they treat you. That goes back to what you'll allow in your life, right? You won't allow yourself to be disrespected by that person coming in, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, thinking that it's okay to just be coming in like that, and you're in a committed relationship. And we're not talking about you at work. You're just out in the streets during the pandemic.
yeah,
That's what you
well,
can't do.
yeah, it's all to the individual. It's about what you accept. So if a
Yeah.
person see that they can do certain things and cross those lines and you haven't checked it, then they cross the boundaries that you haven't set.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's always up to the individual. So
Yeah.
um me, I really, when I'm with a woman, I usually give them access to me. So if I'm with you, it's not too much that you can't have with me, and I'll be like, all right, baby, you with me. But if I'm just dating, then yeah, you got to call, you got to do all that. Nah, but if I'm with you in a relationship, it's too much. Pretty much, I'm going to say you got me. So what's up? Yeah, come on over. Where you at? And I'll be there. So.
Mhm. All right. So Tony, listen, we're gonna get ready and get out of here. I know you have somewhere to go. So how can people follow you? How can they find you? How can they find your book? Um, Let me put the name of that book back up there. We didn't even talk about the book, I mean, directly, but obviously we know what it's about. So tell us where we can find that book at and how can people follow
All right.
you?
If you want to order the book, it's only $10. You can go to my page. You go onto Facebook, just put the I over E perspective. You can go on YouTube, just put I over E perspective, and you'll see some of the shows that we have done in the past. You can also go onto YouTube to our Touchy Topic Tuesday, TOUCHY Topic TOPIC Tuesday, and you'll get a chance to see some more of Tony and how outlandish that I am. And basically it's just, and I say this to end this, I just care about women. I got tired of women, friends of mine, calling me talking about how they allow a man to continue to hurt them. And that's true. That's true to me.
Yeah.
Because women, y'all naturally, most of y'all are good women who are nurturers. Y'all want to be in a relationship. Y'all looking for that one person to live the rest of it with. And so that's why I do what I do when I talk to women so aggressively
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. No, it's appreciated. Of course, I know you, others don't.
Yeah.
So I can take it, and I actually appreciate your approach and your realness. That's one of the things that you've been from the moment I met you, is very real about your experience and always sharing your perspective. So to the listeners, to the viewers, go out there, go grab Tony's book. It's at the bottom of the screen here, and follow him on social media. He always posts some very inspiring posts. I absolutely enjoy those. Every morning, I think you're up
Yes.
sharing and posting. But also, you have a lot of other things that you're very passionate about. You want to share that really quick before you go?
Yeah, I have a nonprofit organization called Fresh, stands for Fully Restoring Every Son's Hope, where we mentor to young men, young women, and try to get them to understand their rights. So when they are confronted by law enforcement, it doesn't turn deadly. I also have a service called the Great Injustice Advocacy Group, where we advocate for those who have been wrongly incarcerated by the judicial system.
Mm.
So if you look at the things I do, it's about helping others.
It is.
That's all it's about. It ain't about me. That's why I say I love me. I just want to help people. And
Yeah.
so that's where my dedication is going to be for the rest of my life, is to just help people. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So you guys heard it right here on the Relationship Zone. This was the Bar Talks edition. Want to talk to Tony about relationships, I over E perspective. Tony, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And to all those that are watching and listening, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us. I hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed our conversation. I hope you come back for our very next talk. Tony, hang out with me in the studio for a second. I'm going to let everyone else go. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.